What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to Wednesday's episode. So this is our discussion. So Monday and Tuesday are topics. Wednesday's discussion. Thursdays we have Ask SSP. Not every Thursday, but I've had a lot of really good interviews. So I'm trying to figure out how to assign them and what weeks to assign them to. And then Fridays we talk about everything else: so movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Definitely continue to tune into us via your podcast platform of choice. We've really been doing really good over the past few weeks. But also go ahead and check out our YouTube page. So our YouTube channel, I should say, has all of our content since like episode 100 and something. So there's plenty of content on there. However, I don't have a lot of subscribers, so I like to plus those numbers up if possible. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from the Washington Post. It's analysis by Tim Starks and research by David DiMolfetta. And so the title of this one is Court Temporarily Dunks Water Cybersecurity Initiative. It seems like everybody's trying to be the New York Post now, right? With these titles, like everybody wants to have a clever pun in there. I'm starting to see this more and more in articles, but
Yeah. I'm used to like IGN does that, right? Like gaming news, but not what is this, the Washington Post?
Yeah, it's the Post. I'm like, you're trying to be the New York Post now? I don't know. But what this was not to get into politics about this. And I told Ryan, I was like, I'm gonna try not to get too much into this, but GOP officials, there's some state officials that were going against this ruling. So the Biden administration, they wanted to have the EPA, they wanted to set a rule set forth from the EPA to make sure that states all make sure that they are monitoring their water treatments. You know what I mean? Like it's water cybersecurity is what it comes down to, because we've done a couple articles on this where we've had some water treatment stations, I believe is what they were, right? I believe it's water treatment stations that had some cybersecurity issues, right? And so based off that, having a couple in the last few years, or there's been several in the last few years, we've talked on a few. All the government wants, all the current administration wants is for everyone to evaluate, right? So when I went back and I looked at what they were asking for, they want people to evaluate their readiness when it comes to cybersecurity and the equipment that they had. That's all they were asking for. But you have some of these attorneys generals who want to dispute this. They're like, hey, this is a one size fits all. It shouldn't be like this. And my thinking is, why shouldn't it be like this? Like everybody drinks water. Well, most people drink water. I mean, you got some people that are like, I don't like water, I won't drink it. But water's in everything, right? Even in soda, you got water and soda. So you're still drinking water. It may not be as much as you should be, but your Mountain Dew still has a bunch of water in it. But so I don't understand the hesitancy here, because I was looking through what they were asking for. Like I looked through the PDF and I was like, this doesn't seem, all they're saying is take an approach to cybersecurity to make sure that nobody gets harmed, in these states, and they want to fight it. I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to get into politics or anything like this, but the people that were disputing it come from one side of the aisle, right? So whether or not it was they really believed in what they were saying or it was just for political means, I don't know. But this seems like something like the discussion to me should revolve around whether or not this should be taken out of the state's hands, right? Like and I know some people will not like this, right? Because they think government's too big already. But when it comes to critical infrastructure, things like this, and it doesn't just have to be water, which it is in this case, right? It can be electricity, nuclear, especially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should it be taken out of the local state's hands, right? Like, should the federal government with the larger budget be the ones to take care of this and make sure that it's being secured like it needs to be, right? Like we've already done an article this week where we talk about this, right? Like when it comes to cybersecurity and the way forward and what's going into it. And they're trying to make good strides for this. And when it comes to your critical infrastructure like this, because water is critical infrastructure, even though some people don't drink it, right? They think they don't drink it,
right?
It needs to be secured. So that's where the discussion comes in for me, is like, why? And I understand, and I hate to say it like this, states want their rights. I don't want to say states' rights because that has a different connotation to it, right? But states want their rights to be able to do certain things, but if you can't do it, like if you're proving right now you cannot keep up with it, which is happening, right? Like you are on old operating systems, you are allowing like remote administration that's not
Yeah, it was
secure properly.
RDP. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
you know what I mean?
Oldsmar. Yep,
Yep,
Oldsmar, Florida.
yep, in Florida, yep. So like if you're allowing those things, which there are plenty of ways to secure that, right? Like it is known how to secure those things. If you can't do it, let it be done by someone else. Do not let your constituents be hurt by this. You know what I mean? So I me personally, and I know I differ. Like I'm in the middle when it comes political things, right? But like this is one of the things where I'm like, big government just needs to take this over. You know what I mean? Because you the states are proving they cannot either it's not important to them or they just don't want to handle it, right? Like it's not important. We're not going to put the funds toward, or we just don't care, right? Until it really affects somebody. That's
Right.
that's what I get from this. But what's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
So to stay out of the political arena, I would like to say it's deeper than bipartisan or deeper than partisanship. It's greed is what I'm thinking. It's that, hey, if we do this survey, we will identify ourselves as being completely not ready to go, and we will have to spend millions upon millions of dollars to be up to the standard. They do not want to be found out, and they've lobbied their Congress people, their attorney generals, and whomever to make sure that they do not get caught out until either they're closer to the standard or this goes away and they don't have to achieve the standard anytime in the near future. Um, at least that's my take on it, the way I see it, right? Like, why are you so scared of a survey? Because it literally will just identify, like, do you have these mechanisms in place? Do you how old is this equipment? What is your operating system on? What is your patch management strategy? And they're just like, oop, no to all the above. Because the I hate to say it, but the chance of your smaller water plant or treatment facility being struck by a national state actor is like hitting the lotto, right? You're just like, it probably won't happen to me, and I don't have the money to cover it. And if it does happen, we will disappear. I will be on a plane somewhere else. But the reality is of it is that tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are in danger because of you and your inability to keep up. So I'm not trying to say it's easy to be in that business. I'm just trying to say if you're going to be in that business, you need to cover all your bets. How do we fix that? It would be to I I hate to say this, but it's if the government wants to give them a baseline, then the government needs to give them grants and things that ability to get to the baseline. Uh, so like if they're going to step in, if big government's going to step in and say, hey, you need to maintain the standard, they have to come with money. I'm not sure if they want to hear that either, like to be honest with you, because it's probably going to be a lot. Like I for one do not believe that our critical infrastructure is in a good place uh, in totality, but especially not in the water treatment side of the house because it's rarely talked about. So when it is, it's something crazy like Oldsmar with the RDP situation where somebody tried to poison the water supply, or Flint, Michigan, where they simply have not fixed the issue. Like it's still a problem. Like these kids will forever be changed mentally and physically because the water is poison, basically. Um, I think I think that I don't want to say that's the norm, but I think that that's in a lot more places than we know about right now. Hell, when I was leaving Anchorage, they had an issue with the water treatment on base where they basically poisoned the water. They put too much fluoride in there. It's a miscalculation. It was not nefarious state act or anything like that. It's like someone added the extra zero or they removed a decimal point or whatever. And then when I was in lodging ready to move from Anchorage down to Virginia, they started posting signs on all the doors like, do not drink the water. And then we found out that it was just way too much fluoride in the water. It was enough to make you sick and enough if you had been exposed for too long to decay your teeth. That's how much fluoride they dumped in there by accident. Um, and that's people just not following the standard operating procedure, right? As opposed to like these people probably know like, hey, we are hanging on by a thread. If only they knew how dangerous this facility was, let alone if it were to be breached or attacked.
So you yeah, that is crazy. Um, so here's my thing though, right? So the millions of dollars that it may cost for this, why is that a concern, right? Like these state governments work for the pleasure of the people, like their constituents are the ones like
Hmm.
you don't do it to save money, right? You do it to make sure we are happy. That's what it comes down to, right?
Right. But those are public though. How many of these are private, right? I think that's the big rub is like if you're a private company, you're not up to standard, you don't want the survey to hit you.
But if you're a private company that's servicing the people of the United States for what I consider critical
Mhm.
infrastructure, right? Like that's what you have to be subjected to. Like and they're going down that road. Like this current administration is going down that road. So remember, we did a report on this at I want to say about a month ago. We were talking about this about how critical
Yep.
infrastructure is going to be more tightly looked at when it comes from the federal government. Like on if you are if you're a private company providing services and it deals with critical infrastructure, we're going to look at you a lot harder,
Right.
right? So like that's already in the works. Like don't try to avoid it now. Get ahead of it now, right? Don't be that water treatment company at the end, after everybody has gone and done everything, to where it's like, hey, this has been in place for a year. Why are you still at this level, right? Like you were
Right.
fighting it all this time. Like get in now and fix it. You know what I mean? But hell, that could even be a talking point for you. Be like, hey, we saw the danger in this. We care about the people. We love everything about what we do. We got on the bandwagon early, right? Like we were driving it. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right, right,
driving
exactly.
it.
So
So
yeah, I honestly don't like it. When it comes to business, man, like it's not really about the people. It's about the people who are on your board. It's about the people who are your investors. It's not really about the people in your that you're servicing. Um, so that's why I'm just like, I don't think that this is necessarily like, oh, we're just gonna fight it just because we're blue or we're red. It's like, no, everything's green. Like these people were like, hey, we don't have the money, and if I want to stay in office or if I want to stay wherever I'm at, I need to push this back for as long as I can until either these companies consolidate. Because like obviously, if you're that bad off, you're gonna try to get bought by somebody, or until they're able to meet the standard, or until the standard just simply goes away. Like a new administration is just like, we're not going to push that.
and that could be what they're waiting for, to be honest with you. Again, I'm not going to go down that road. I told you I wouldn't.
That's
But
what I'm saying. Like, I don't, like, I think it's money. I don't even think it's about whatever is that made up. You know what I mean? Uh, for if I'm red or if I'm blue or whatever. Like at the end of the day, like these companies just like, I need to keep making money. This is going to hurt me if you shut me down.
I'm all for that if it's for purposes of entertainment or something like this. Again,
Right, not
if
critical. And yes, I
exactly,
agree. I agree. But I don't think they don't see a difference. It's like, hey, this is what I make my money at, providing you near safe water. That should be the campaign. Like we're almost safe, but not quite there. So yeah, I don't know. It does boggle my mind, but at the end of the day, like when you see the inner workings of companies, like that's what they care about. So like, damn all these people that we service, like I need to make sure I have this wealth until I can pivot to something else. Um, and now it's starting to show their hand because that doesn't even make sense. Like we can't, we don't like this because you're infringing on our rights. You're like, but your right to give me potentially poison water? What? Or put me in a dangerous situation, right? Like who's to say that they don't have like they're not part of a breach, or like these people probably run off Windows 95, Windows ME. You know what I mean? And they're just like, it would take so much money to put this in place. We need to hurry up and get out of Dodge before this actually becomes a thing, or buy our way out of it. Like get the proper people in office that won't necessarily put the pressure on me. But who's to say, right? But definitely continue to check out this one because it's going to keep unwinding like this. So the stay went in place. This is the eighth circuit court. So we'll see if the government pushes back, which I assume they will. The federal government will push back and say, no, this needs to happen. And we'll see how it plays out. Like at the end of the day, I believe they will win and this survey will take place, and then we will start to see how bad things are. But I think they're going to make concessions. There's going to have to be something that allows these people to not go bankrupt because of their poor practice and decisions in the past. Because companies get bailed out and people don't. It's just the way it is.
dead on. Yeah.
Yeah. But please continue to tune in. Hopefully, I did not rub the audience the wrong way. Please check out the podcast. Hit us up at other socials that go by our name. Check out the YouTube channel. Hit me up at Rye Security Guy, RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe, stay secure.